Hello, welcome to Do Life. Today we are having some little challenge, technical challenge with the streaming, but we hope it's been corrected. But wherever you are, I welcome you to Do Life. Tomorrow, as you're all aware, it's Thanksgiving here in the United States of America. And that those of you who are watching us from different parts of the world, I just want you to know that we give God thanks for your life. So whilst people are celebrating Thanksgiving here in the U.S., I say thanks be to God for your life, and may the Lord show you His goodness, and at least have something to say about God's kindness, referring to His deeds, and giving Him the glory and the praise that He so deserves. Well, tonight, I'm not going to go too long, but there are some important things that I believe would help you and help me. And I want us to talk about leadership, but this time not the ordinary leadership, but self-leadership. There's so much talks about leadership and so many materials out there on leadership. I hope that today's teaching would help us to address some of the critical and some of the important things that reference leadership. Can I say this to you? Not everything that we read, not everything that we hear, our leadership is leadership. So I'll take time to at least address some of these issues or these matters. What leadership is not is what I want to start with. Honestly, leadership is not what you think. Leadership is not what you know. And leadership is not what you say. The fact that you think leadership doesn't make you a leader. The fact that you know some things about leadership doesn't even make you a leader. And the fact that you talk about leadership doesn't make you a leader. And I'll give you an example. You see, to many people, they think if you are ahead of something, you are a leader. You can be ahead of anything and not be a leader. Because you can be a head as a figurehead only. It doesn't make you a leader. There are so many people at home, on the job, you see them up front, but actually they are not leaders. Some of them might as well be puppets. They are being told what to do from behind. So being the head of something doesn't make you a leader. Number two, being mature, in other words, having age on your side, and even experience doesn't make you a leader. There are so many people who are experienced. There are so many people who have age on their side. But the fact that you have age and also you have experience does not make you a leader. So leadership is also not being in charge or being a boss. You can be a boss and not be a leader. There are so many people who are bosses, but they are not leaders. You can be boss at home, boss on the job, boss anywhere or everywhere, and still not be a leader. Let me tell you what leadership is not. Education doesn't make you a leader, or having a degree doesn't make you a leader. Listen, you can go to school and still not have leadership skills. Leadership has nothing to do with education, and leadership has nothing to do with a degree. Again, not only leadership, but the fact that you are affiliated or you have connections doesn't make you a leader. You can be connected to the right group, right organization, right church, right company, but you may not be a leader. And I also want to tell you that you can even have power and always be seen as one in control, but that doesn't make you a leader either. You can have all the answers, and you may know everything there is to know, but that doesn't make you a leader. So when we talk about leadership, I want us to look at it and examine it carefully, because leadership does not begin anywhere unless it begins with you and begins in you. So let me quickly go and give you the rundown again. I said first and foremost, a leader is not the person who is on top or is ahead. A leader is not one who has age on his side or experience. A leader is not one who is a boss or in charge. A leader is not one who has education or have degrees. A leader is not one who is affiliated with the right group. A leader is not one who has power. And a leader is not one who is in control either. Neither is a leader the one who has all the answers. Let me tell you what leadership is in simple terms. Leadership, number one, is influence. Leadership is, number one, influence. If you have influence, then I'll say that you're on your way to be a leader. Number two, leadership has got all to do with what you do. Leadership is what you do. So when somebody says, I'm a leader, it's not about power. It's not about control. It's not about having all the answers. It's not about being on top of anything. It's not about having the right education or the right degrees or right affiliations. It got to do with influence, number one. Number two, it's got to do with what you do. And number three, the results that you always produce. So leadership has to do with influence, has to do with what you do, and also has to do with results. You see, when you find a leader who leads a group of people, is one who is able to persuade or influence his constituency, or is able to get people to believe in a cause and wanting to follow him. But if you don't know how to be a leader in yourself, you cannot lead anyone else because you can't give what you do not have. So, since leadership has got to do with influence, what you do, and number three, the results that you produce, let us first find out or talk about discovering the leader in you. Leadership begins by first discovering who you are. If you don't know who you are, it will be difficult for you to call yourself a leader. There are so many organizations that has good people on top. The fact that you are a good person and you are on top, or you have the right education and you're on top, or the right qualification or degree that you're on top, doesn't make you a leader. If you don't know who you are, you'll be confusing yourself and confusing the people that you're supposed to be leading. And since we're talking about self-leadership, I want to begin with you. Do you know who you are? You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are. It begins with you. Number two, if you know who you are, you know the real you. You know the real you. When you discover who you are, there are some things you discover about yourself. Well, let me say that some things you discover about yourself, some are positive and some are not all that positive. But it is self-realization. Since we talk about self-leadership, you've got to know the real you. Who are you? Who are you? These are things that we have to ask ourselves from time to time. And in fact, if you have young children or you have teenagers at home or you have young adults at home, please help them to discover who they are before the world makes them what they are not. There are so many people who are confused. They have identity crises. They are going through identity crises. They are confused. They don't know who they are. They are confused with their personalities. They are confused with their agenda. They are confused with their future. They are confused with their looks. They are confused with just everything. They're just confused because they don't know who they are. Now, if you don't know who you are, it will be difficult for you to lead yourself. And if you happen to be leading people and you don't know who you are, Many times you end up breaking people's life or breaking people's heart because you don't know who you are. When you break down, it affects the people that you are leading. You have to first discover the real you. When you come to realize the real you, these are some things you find out about yourself. Honesty and transparency. Any person who discovers who he is very honest with himself and also transparent. When you discover who you are, you become honest with yourself. You are so transparent with yourself. You don't lie to yourself. You see, you can be dishonest with others, but when it comes to you, you got to be honest with yourself. Because if you are honest with yourself and you're transparent with yourself, then you can actually expect things to be different in you and things to be different around you. First, discover who you are. Then you discover the real you, or you will know the real you. If you don't discover, you will not know. You have to discover the real you so that you can know the real you. And when you know the real you, you have to be honest and you have to be transparent. Now, when a person who knows himself, who is honest and transparent, can always tell you if you are to corner them or to get them one-on-one. They will tell you about their strengths and also they can tell you about their weaknesses. If you know who you are and you know yourself well, if you discover who you are and you know who you are, you will be able to assess both your strengths and also your weaknesses because you're transparent. You see, what you don't know, you don't know. It's always good to recognize or admit what you don't know and also admit to what you know. You have to be transparent with yourself. Some people can't get the help they need because they're not transparent. Some people don't get the favors they need in life because they are not honest. But when you discover who you are and you know who you are transparent, you are honest, you admit to your strengths and also your weaknesses. Then another thing also you discover is your abilities as well as your capabilities. Let me explain something to you. There are many people who are capable, who are able, but they are not capable. You find people who have some abilities, but they are not capable to perform. It is easy to go to school and get a degree. You are able, you talk well, you sound like you know what you're doing, but the real fact is you don't know what you're doing because you don't have the capability to produce. And you know, when you don't know who you are so well, or you are not too honest with yourself, you will be in self-denial when you're supposed to get the help that you need. In fact, I don't know this. Oh, really you don't? Let me teach you. Than to pretend you know it and yet you don't know it. When you begin to look at leadership and what it entails, you will discover then that admission to your abilities and your capabilities makes life easier and simpler. And you are able to achieve so much in life that ordinarily you wouldn't be able to achieve. What leadership is, I said earlier, is influence and what you do, and 3, the results that you're able to attain. We talk about discovering yourself and also knowing yourself. Some people discover things, but they don't take time to know it. Discover it and know it. It's just like a relationship. You've discovered a relationship, but you've not taken time to know the relationship. If you don't know the relationship, you make blunders. You have to discover something and know it. You see, many people have discovered God, but they don't know Him. And because they don't know God, guess what? They blame God for everything that goes wrong. They even don't know how to relate to Him because they've discovered God, but they don't know what to do with Him. Some discover a particular area of interest, but they just don't know what to do with it. So if you are going to become the leader that you're supposed to be, first in yourself, it begins with discovery, knowing who you are. Then it comes to accepting who you are. Are you willing to accept who you are so that you can take your self-leadership forward? Accepting the real you. You've got to accept the real you. Listen, if you accept the real you, you will reduce some of the frustrations that you allow your life to go through. Accept the real you. When you accept the real you, it's just like accepting reality. This is my reality. Accept the real me. This is me. Take it or leave it. You've got to be the leader you're supposed to be. But you have to start with you. That's self-leadership. First, you discover, you know, then you accept. I've discovered who I am now. I know who I am now. And I accept who I am now. When you do these things and you accept who you are, then I'll say that you are on the right path to greatness. Now that you have accepted the real you, let's talk. And let's bring this message or this discussion home. I realize now that leadership is all about influence. It's not about power. I realize now that leadership is what you do. I'm not sitting around hoping to do something. I'm doing something. I'm realizing that leadership is not just hoping, but now I'm actually working towards results. I realize now that for me to discover the leader in me, I have to discover me. I've discovered me now. I'm honest with myself. I'm transparent. I recognize I have strengths and I also have weaknesses. I now know what my abilities are and what my capabilities are. I accept it. I accept the real me. Now that you have accepted the real you, we are getting closer to discovering the leader in you. And that is, you now have the things you've discovered, the things you have known, the things you have accepted. Now you've got to add some management and discipline to it. If you can add management and discipline to it, then I can assure you, you will go forward in life and you will go far in life. Haven't you seen people you admire? Haven't you come across people who are gifted, but they seem to be spinning around because they have not discovered these things that I'm sharing with you? You see, you can read all the books on the market, and he can tell you that, hey, you're a leader, this, but it's not what you think. It's not what you think you know. It's not what you are saying. You can say all you want to say, but that doesn't make you a leader. You've got to discover you. Now that you've discovered you, then you've got to put some measures in place. Are you willing to self-manage and also bring discipline to yourself? Because if you cannot manage you can't manage anyone else. And it will be dangerous for people to trust you to manage them when, in fact, you cannot manage yourself. Some people are waiting for promotion. And some of the companies you work for are not going to hurt you. That's why you're not promoted. Should you be promoted, you destroy yourself. Why? You will sleep less, you will eat less, you develop ulcers, you'll be frustrated, you have panic attacks when it's time for you to go to work. Because you've not learned how to manage these things. If you learn how to keep your cool and you understand self-leadership, I can tell you, there's no situation that will take you by surprise. You will not always be breaking out in cold sweats, your palms wet, and you just break out in this nervousness. You take everything calm and also collected because you have self. discipline. And also, you have self-management. You know how to manage yourself. When you find a person who is self-managed and has discipline, you will find out that such person, whatever they do, they hold themselves accountable. They hold themselves accountable. Do you hold yourself accountable, or you are accountable to no one? There are individuals who are good people. Listen to me. They are good people. They have good personalities, but they're not accountable to anyone. These are not the people who have what you call self-discipline or self-management, because they're not accountable to anyone. You have to bring yourself to accountability. And a person who is self-leader, that person holds himself or herself to accountability. If you're going to manage and bring discipline to your life, you've got to hold yourself accountable. Any person who is good with management and discipline, they also know how to manage their time and their resources. Some people don't know how to manage their time and their resources. And if you cannot do this, listen, you can go too far. Jesus made a statement. He says that if you've not been trusted with somebody's property, who can trust you with your own property? You have not been able to manage even your life properly. I mean, if people put you in charge, you'll ruin their business. The reason why so many businesses go bankrupt, the reason why so many organizations go down, is because they put people in charge who don't have self-leadership. They don't know how to lead themselves. The fact that a person is gifted and talented doesn't mean anything if they don't have self-discipline and they don't have proper management. It is a sign that these people can mess up. There are some people who are CEOs, but when you go to their rooms, it's messy. When you go to their closets, it's messy. When you go to their kitchen, it's messy. Everything about them is messy. But they dress well, they look well, they talk well, because they've been to the Ivy League schools. Well planned, well managed, manicured. They know exactly what to put out there. They don't know how to manage their lives, and they have no self-discipline. They don't know how to manage their time just as much as managing their resources. But a person who is self-disciplined or a leader, they know how to take their time seriously. They don't waste time. They don't waste time. They don't lose time. They don't abuse time. They give time, they share time, but they don't abuse time. And also, they take their resources quite seriously. Because resources is more than just money. It means ability, gifts, talents. If you don't know how to use it correctly, you will not be able to go too far in leadership. And leadership begins, as I said, with you. You want to start a business? First, ask yourself, do I have the discipline? Am I self-disciplined? Do I know how to manage myself? If you don't know how to manage yourself, you'll not be able to manage your books. You'll not be able to manage your business. There are so many people who are gifted. They run into businesses, people come to help them, and they mess them up because these people don't know what it takes. They have no discipline. They get little fame, it gets into their head. Little money, it gets into their head. Listen, you can't go too far in life. Learn from people who have experience, who have self-leadership, who can help you to put you on the right path. Again, I said self-management and leadership, it involves holding yourself accountable. Number 2, managing your time and also your resources. Because if you know how to manage your time and your resources, let me just tell you what happens. As a result of it, you will maintain balance in your life. Is your life balanced or is tilted? Is your life balanced or is off course? Now, people ask me questions all the time. And even today, I had a very good A wonderful young man asked me a question. He says, how do you manage all the things that you do? And I just said to him, I wish I had 25 hours in a day because I'm using 24 wisely. I wish I had one more hour because I used my time profitably. And all the things that I'm doing or I'm involved in, my goal is to make sure that all of them succeed equally and none of the things of my interest fails. So my goal is for me to be able to be self-accountable. I will hold myself to task. I will make sure that I don't cut slack when I've not performed to my satisfaction or done the best I believe I can do. How do I manage my resources, little resources? How do I manage my time? Who are the people I share time with? Who are the people I gift time? And who are the people I protect my time from? Because there are some people who are time stealers. And if you give your time to the wrong people, they'll mess you up. They could be the best people, the best friends in life, but they can mess you up. So for self-leadership, you make sure that your time, your resources is properly managed, discipline is employed. You also make sure that you maintain good balance in your life. When you find a person who maintains good balance in the life, there are some few things you discover about them. And I'll mention some to you. Priorities. They are able to prioritize. A person who has a balanced life, they are able to prioritize. There are some things that doesn't appeal to me. No matter what you do, it will never appeal to me. That's who I am. You don't like this. Yes, I don't like it. Why? Because I have to self-discipline. And also, I have to make sure that I self-manage. If I don't manage me and I don't discipline me, you will ruin my life because you mismanage it, and also you will make me undisciplined. When a person is undisciplined, guess what? When a person is undisciplined, they change their minds every second. I have to do things by plan. If it's not planned, I won't do it. I'm not just getting excited, go to a store, hoping that I'll find something to buy. If I don't know what I'm going to get there, I'm not going there. I plan to succeed. I don't plan to fail. And this is something that you have to understand. Any person who has a balanced life, who's accountable, who takes time and resources seriously, and knows how to prioritize life, you will find out that such one always have, even if they have things go bad, you have it under control. There's minimize effect, negative effect, but maximize positive effect. We're talking about self-discipline. A person who prioritizes things in life, often you realize that they are very focused. Hardly do you get them distracted. They're very focused people. A person who is prioritizing everything, they also minimizes not only distractions, they minimize stress. People are dying because of stress. You are stressing yourself. You are stressing yourself. You see a young guy, just 18, 19 years old, and you think they're 95 years old, walk all burnt together. No, look at them. They are not happy. They are distracted. Also, they are what? Stress. When you find people who tell you, listen to me, when you find people, maybe you have loved ones, you find people who tell you, oh, the reason why I've been smoking pot or I've been smoking cigarette because I'm stressed. The reason why I'm drinking is because I'm stressed. You are finding a person who doesn't have self-leadership. They don't know how to lead their lives. You're going to ruin your life with alcohol, excessive alcohol, smoking, because when you get stressed, you have to light a cigarette. When you get stressed, you have to take some sniff. When you get a little stressed, you have to do some marijuana. What's your problem? What is your priority? With what I do in life, and the responsibilities that I carry, I try to maintain my focus. Second, I try not to allow myself to be stressed. Because when you are a leader, You minimize this is because you prioritize your life. You don't bring yourself into the places where you allow distraction to take over and also allow stress to take over. You see, some people start a journey and they stop. Have you found someone on the way to a funeral and they stop in the shop just to buy something and they realize that they spent too many hours in the shop and by the time they got there, the funeral is over or the wedding is over? There are so many people who are on their way to a good place. But because of distraction and because of stress, they just throw in the towel and they back out. When you find a person whose life is prioritized or they prioritize their lives, I can tell you something, they minimize confusion. Always confused. I'm confused. I'm confused. I don't know where I put this. I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm confused. There are people who are young in their 20s. They seem like they have Alzheimer's. They don't remember nothing. And you find people in their 80s and 90s, they are sharp as a whip. Why? Because they live disciplined lives. Because they manage things properly. They know where things are. They prioritize their lives. Less distractions, less stress, less confusion, less burn out. There's so many people who are burned out. They are ready to throw in the towel, burn out. I'm tired. I can't wait to just move on. And no. You've got to stay in this. That's self-leadership. Stay in here. Stay in here. A great singer is not one who gets excited when they see the crowd, but one when he looks at himself or herself in the mirror can sing her heart out and believe that the masses have heard him or her. You don't wait till there's a crowd to perform. A self-motivated person is always motivated. When people discourage you, you're still motivated. But when you are not self-motivated and you wait for people to motivate you, the moment they criticize you, your world is what? Over. Do you know how many criticisms I've been through in my lifetime? And I'm still excited and happy about life. And I'm not quitting anytime soon. Because I'm focused. I am driven. I'm motivated. I have inspiration. I don't get distracted easily. Just as a man who's watching a football game can sit through distraction because a touchdown is coming about, the same way you can maintain that self-discipline and manage yourself and make sure that the leadership that you expect in you will be the kind of leadership you will need to change your world. You don't need to be burned out. You don't need to be burned out. Some people are burned out. There's so many people who get burned out. Listen, I've been doing this for many years. I'm not burning out. I'm flaming in. I'm just excited about life. I'm just excited about life. Just excited about life. Can't you tell? I'm just excited about life. I'm not giving up. I'm just excited about life. I'm always looking for innovative ways to do new things. To start with me first. Because if I can try it, I can take it out. If you can try it out there, self-leader, you can take it out there. You see, that's what you need to do. That's what David did. David was able to test his strengths with the lion and the bear. So when Goliath came, he applied the same principle to take care of Goliath. Before he went to the battlefield, he was in the wilderness. He was in the desert. He was dealing with lions and bears. He started with the sheep. Sheep don't have strength. He had to use his strength to protect the sheep by fending or pushing the lion and the bear that came to take his flock or came to take his to destroy his work. And through that, his courage and leadership was needed when Pharaoh, when, 'Pharaoh, 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 when, 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 Samson Excuse me. When Goliath, thank you, when Goliath threatened the people of Israel, he used his courage, his strength to deal with Goliath. You may be a little David, but you can handle Goliath. But for you to handle Goliath, first you have to take care of the sheep, take care of it, self-discipline. Take care of the sheep. Manage the sheep first. Then you'll be asked on assignment to go see how others are doing. And that will be your opportunity to lead many. That is how these things are done. So if you prioritize things, distraction will be minimized, stress will be minimized, burnout will be minimized. You will not be living your life in depression. People are prioritized. They don't live or allow depression to take over their lives. Why do you allow depression to take over your life? When you prioritize, you don't get depressed that easy because you push it off. Another point, when you find a person who prioritizes things, they don't live life hopelessly. Hopelessness will be scared of you instead of you being hopeless. When you find a person who prioritizes things and they bring discipline to their lives, they are not afraid of failure. Because if you are prioritized and you are a leader, you don't fail easily because you always fight failure and always champion success. So now, to cap it, we've talked about what leadership is not. Leadership is not what you think. It's not what you know. You think you know, but you don't practice. And it's not what you say, because talk is cheap. And I've also explained that there are so many people you see out front out there. The fact that you are popular doesn't make you a leader. But getting the results makes you a leader. No matter how long it takes, a leader doesn't quit. And quitters don't lead. Stick with it and see the outcome. We discovered that you can have power and be in control and be the boss and be in charge. You can have degrees and still not be the leader. You may have all the answers in the world and still not be the leader. Simple. What leader is? One that has influence. One that has influence. One that knows what to do. And one that also achieves results. One that has discovered himself or herself. One that knows herself. Transparent, honest, know the strengths and weaknesses, and also one that knows the abilities and capabilities. One that have accepted the real them. This is me. And also knows how to manage and also apply discipline. They are accountable to themselves and accountable to people they trust. They manage their time and their resources right. And they maintain good balance in their lives. They know how to prioritize. And if you can do this thing, then this Thanksgiving will be a true leader, self-leader, who's going to go places. It is time for us to take charge, but start with you. If you can lead yourself, then you'll be the leader the world is looking for. In fact, the last time I checked, the world is looking for leaders. And they were asking if you are available. And I just told them, yes, you are, but you are working on yourself, and you'll be coming very shortly. And they should keep waiting for you because you're the right person who can lead them. May God bless you. May God's face shine upon you. And may God give you hope and the assurance that the best is yet to come. Join me again this Sunday morning, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And for those who are watching in the places, watching wherever you are in the world, join us Eastern Standard Time. Join us on Facebook. Join us on also on YouTube. And also you can follow us on our Twitter, feed, and please share us with as many as you can. We look forward to coming back to you every time with a message that can help you become the best version of you. We also want to give you opportunity to give to Life International. It's a good place to sow, and it's a good place to support because we are doing our very best to reach out to as many people who needs the message of God's grace and God's love. God bless you for your faithfulness. And follow the instructions that is given. And I look forward to seeing you next week. God bless.